is the elevation of Indian origin Rishi Sunak good for India as well? This is a question that we will be delving into in this video. Hello and welcome to India Today. I'm Anjali Istawal. As the Indian diaspora and also the Indian citizens celebrated elevation of Rishi Sunak to the post of PM and him moving into 10 Downing Street, the big question is, how is it going to impact India-UK bilateral ties? Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because we are not very clear about how Rishi Sunak is going to go forward as far as India is concerned. But there are some indications or some early signs that we can analyze. And the first early sign is reappointment of Suella Braverman as the Home Secretary or the Home Minister. We had earlier seen that Suella Braverman had openly shown her anti-India stance. Well, she had spoken against the proposed India-UK Free Trade Agreement. This free trade agreement is believed to be one of the key things that will influence India-UK relationship. Through this free trade agreement, India and UK are hoping to double their bilateral trade to $100 billion by 2030. Now, in the middle of all this, Suella Braverman, who was the Home Secretary in Liz Truss's government at that time, she openly said that the majority of immigrants who overstayed their visas in UK were Indians. And her anti-immigration stance is very well known amongst the Indian diaspora as well as all the MPs, the Tory MPs. In fact, she is one of the most, we could say, one of the most ardent supporters of Brexit and has been one of the staunch supporters of the right-wing philosophy of being anti-immigration. So, reappointment of Suella Braverman as Home Secretary, what does this signal to India? Will that impact the FTA, the talks that are going on between India and UK on FTA? Will that make an impact? Because India is expecting that the number of business and student visas that are currently that are exchanged between the two countries, that will go up. That means more Indian students and more Indian businessmen can go to UK on visas. Now, the big question is that going to impact this whole negotiation or not? Well, the other thing that we need to look at is the stance of UK authorities, or rather their attitude towards what is called as the Khalistan revival in UK. There are reports that in some of the gurudwaras in UK, openly there are donations being expected out of people. There is a radicalization of the Sikh youth which is underway, and the UK authorities seem to be not noticing it, or are rather choosing to stay quiet on it. So that is also one big issue that could become a point of contention between the two countries, as this issue has been earlier raised by the Indian authorities with the UK authorities. Another point of contention between India and UK will be the extradition of economic offenders. Now, we all know that India's stance on economic offences has been pretty harsh in the recent times, and it is looking towards UK for the extradition of some white-collar criminals against whom the cases are registered in India, so that they can pursue those cases. We all know of Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya, and India has been looking at securing their extradition for quite some time, but UK has not really warmed up to the idea. So that is another point at which Indian authorities would continuously be looking at and would expect some sort of a response from UK authorities. Lastly, India's economic growth. Well, UK as an economy has been left behind by India in terms of GDP, and India is a rising global power, and that whole equation of a imperialist country, an erstwhile imperialist country and a former colony, that will have to change, and the equation has to become of equal partners. This is something PM Modi will expect, and that is also a message that we are seeing being sent out by Indian government. Will Rishi Sunak be the Prime Minister who will now look at India as an equal partner, that is also a big issue. So let's keep an eye on Rishi Sunak and see how he fares as a Prime Minister for the country, that is England, and also for India. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news update, subscribe to India Today.